Hey everyone, I am your astrologer Brittany with Horoscope.com. Here are 3 things you need to know in order to make today, Tuesday, April 23rd, 2019, a success. And the first thing I want to talk about is going to be right here where the moon is in Sagittarius. When the moon's in Sagittarius, it brings our attention to doing something new that we have not done before. It could be traveling, moving, studying, something along those lines. If not that, a moon in Sagittarius brings our attention to our belief systems, understanding life, making sense of life in some way. Typically, I do think it's a generally optimistic and playful placement here with the moon in Sagittarius. Now, what we've got going on very, very early this morning, while many of us may be sleeping, is this moon in Sagittarius making a quincunx over here to the North Node in Cancer. A quincunx is a little bit of a difficult alignment. We are trying to, with the moon in Sagittarius, do something new, different, branch out, make sense of our life. But perhaps these new things that we're doing are making us a little bit uncomfortable, taking us out of our comfort zone, taking us away from home or away from family in some way that may not feel the best, okay? We could feel a little bit of a tension going on there that we're not quite sure how to reconcile. That's going to be with us for a few hours. The next alignment that's going to occur is going to be now around breakfast time as we are getting up and moving around. Around that time, this moon in Sagittarius is going to move further through the sign and make a conjunction here with Jupiter. I typically do like this. Jupiter to me is the planet of expansion and good luck. So even though we may have been feeling a little bit of conflict earlier in the day, or really yesterday and overnight, about something new that we're doing and how we feel about it and what that means, I think as we move throughout today, we start to get more excited and more optimistic. There starts to be new things, new perspectives that start to come into our life. And I think lots and lots of feelings, okay? With the moon conjunct Jupiter, of course, Jupiter being the planet of expansion, this can bring lots and lots of emotions. Typically, I like to think they are good emotions about something new that we're doing, but I do feel like I have to mention sometimes Jupiter can go the other way and can bring lots of feelings that are not so good, especially if there are some things going on right now in your life, perhaps that may be a little bit of a challenge. But the thing that we're trying to do here is to see things in new and different ways and to give ourselves permission to branch out and explore that may be what's causing some of the conflict. Then after that happens, that's going to sit with us for most of the day. The next alignment that's going to happen after that is going to be around dinner time. Around dinner time, this moon in Sagittarius is then going to enter the sign of Capricorn. Now, when the moon's in Capricorn, things change quite a bit. Sagittarius is a very optimistic and expansive sign, really encouraging us to move past our boundaries, to see things in different ways. And Capricorn is a little bit more of a serious and a restricted sign. So we have all of these big ideas, feelings, things that have been going on in our minds that once we get to the nighttime around dinner, we have to be a little bit more serious about, disciplined about. We have to narrow all these ideas down to see which ones really can work and which ones are the best for us. And that's what starts to come in here at nighttime. Okay, as we're starting to get more serious here about what of these new things and ideas going on in our mind are realistically possible, realistically achievable, can put our life in the right direction. As we're thinking about all of that here, this moon, as it moves into Capricorn, now around bedtime, makes a trine over here to Uranus and Taurus. And what that can bring are some sudden and unexpected events up that occur very, very quickly. Perhaps now that we've learned some new things, we've explored new ideas, we're picking 1 or 2 of the new things that are realistically doable, that are really important to us and what it is that we want. And maybe we're starting to break free with the trine to Uranus from old situations, especially financial situations, so that we can do more of what we want and so that we can be more confident about our journey, about our decisions, and about what is coming, okay? And that is the last alignment of the day. That's going to stick with us, okay? It really happens at bedtime. All right, so that brings my first thing with the astrology. Allow yourself to do something new and different, even if it feels uncomfortable, but choose 1 or 2 things that are realistic to you and then go all in on those and be confident with those decisions, or be confident with those things that you are doing. Now, the second thing I want to talk about today, maybe I'll go here. Number 2, Venus is in a conjunction with Chiron today. Venus rules relationships and it rules money. And Venus is in Aries, a sign it doesn't really like to be in. So that can make things with relationships and money a little bit of a challenge, especially with Venus also conjunct Chiron. We could be feeling very vulnerable and very sensitive. Actually, not just about relationships and money, but we could be feeling very vulnerable and sensitive about ourselves, our own self-worth, with Venus also being the planet of self-worth here. And I think needing to be patient if that's the way you're feeling, needing to not freak out if that's the case. I think we're at a moment in time in the astrology where we're really trying to make some big decisions here to actually fix our life so that we can be confident and so that we can have better relationships and money. And before the good stuff with the relationships and the money, before we start to feel much better, before all that sinks in, I think there are some adjustments that we're going to have to make here so that we can do things new and different in our life that really resonate with us before everything else starts to improve. All right. And we got to do the other things, do things new, different, and exciting, and then everything else will come together. And again, needing to be patient while things work out and to not freak out. All right, things will get better. Just be sensitive, be vulnerable, be open about your vulnerabilities in the process, and things will come together. Now, the third and last thing I want to talk about, what do I want to go to? I've got Saturn and Pluto going retrograde soon, and we've got Mars in a square with Neptune. Maybe I'm going to go here, Saturn, Pluto retrograde. We got a few more days on this, but I'll go with number 3. This Saturn and Pluto are about to, after they've been going direct for a while, are stationing now to go retrograde. And I think this is important, especially because all these planets are conjunct. They're doing it while they're together before they separate. And I think what's been happening this past month in the astrology was a major turning point in our lives to really change our life, to be something different than it's ever been before. And I think these planets stationing at this degree are saying, okay, did you get the memo? Okay, do you really understand what you need to do? Okay, your life needs to change. Are you going to commit to it, or are you just going to think about it? Are you going to let this change pass you by? What's happening here? And I think with this alignment, Saturn, Pluto stationing together on the South Node, you really do have to change your life, and you have to commit to changing it. And you have to focus on what it is that you want your life to be, and then make the adjustments in order to create the life that you want, even if it feels uncomfortable in the process, even if you upset some people, even if money doesn't feel quite right. And again, once you commit to making the change, doing something new, everything else is going to start to fall into place. And once you start to realize what it is that you need to do and do it, then it's going to be easier for you, once these planets go retrograde very soon, to then fix a bunch of stuff from the past few months. If there's been a bunch of stuff from the past few months you've been doing that you felt were right or half right and not entirely right, this time in the astrology is going to help you commit to what you need in order to create a better life for yourself, so that you can redo everything in the past and make everything better to come along with you towards a bright new future that is ahead of you. And needing to not be scared, not be afraid, needing to not avoid doing the things that you know your soul needs in order to move on. So that is your daily planetary forecast for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you tomorrow.